Alright, welcome to class. Today I'm talking about the display properties. We have 6 types of display properties in CSS. We have the block, the inline block, flex, grid, and none. Alright, so let's go ahead and write some code. So to call this class parent. Alright, is the parent. Then we have this inside as child of the content. Alright, so let's run this on our browser. See what we have here. Reload. So we have this. So let's go and style it. First of all, we'll start the parent to have a border wrapping everything together. Of parent dot parent. Also have border MPX solid blue for this strap inside of the border. And add the border radius so that it's curved. FPX. And put the margin. Okay, padding. Yes. So now we need to start the children. So if you look at this, they are nested inside of this parent, so they are like children. So we use the child selector to start them. So come here. You see, dot parent, child selector, divs. Also have give the width of 70 px, height of 40 px. Okay, so let's spell this correctly. Parent. Once you have this, so give the background color. Alright, so let's give it margin to separate each of the content. Okay, I want this content text to be in the middle, so put the to align items center. Text align, sorry, the text align center. Alright, so we have this content now. Alright, so let's check. So have the block, the inline block, the flex, grid, and none. Alright, so what's the block? One element, first of all, the display property is used to determine how elements show up on a page, whether it is standing alone or standing with other elements side by side or gridded into rows and columns. So that the display property determines how elements are displayed on the web page. Right? So now I want to check the block. So the block element here, the block display property sets element to sit to occupy a particular the width. Alright. In display property, each element occupy a new line and also takes over the whole width of the line. It doesn't allow any other element stay side by side with it. Alright, so we come here at the display. If we have the display property here, display, then call the block here like this. By default, the div element has a display of block. Alright, so this div element here by default has a display of block. It doesn't allow the elements to side by side it. Alright, so you have the come here, added the display property of block. It will still remain the same. Each element occupying a single line and filling the hole with not allowing any other element to stay by the side. Alright, so that's what this is what the display block property does. So we're going to go next to our inline. Alright, our inline block is added straight on the element. Display inline. Here, elements are able to sit side by side. Reload. I think it's able to sit side by side. But one thing about the inline is that it doesn't take cognizance of width and height. Alright, it just set elements to sit side by side each other. So that's what the inline does. It sits side by side each other, which you have here. See, instead of being straight off like the block, each occupying its particular width and a particular line, here they can sit side by side each other. But the inline does not have regards for or have take cognizance for the width and the height property. So if your element has a width and height, it will disregard it and not work with it. So let's now change this to the next, which is the inline block. The inline block. So the inline block works similarly as the inline. Similarly as the inline, just like the inline block, the width and height property of the element is taken into consideration. Alright, so here elements sit side by side each other with the width and height being present. So if element has a width and height, it's to respect it and display the width and height and also display them side by side. So this is what the inline block does. So just between the inline and the inline block is that the inline block, the width and height property is captured. Alright, if the element has a width and a height, it is captured. Alright, so let's go next to the other, which is the flex property. Alright, so in the flex property, elements sit side by side. Alright, it sits side by side. Let me comment this. Go here and add the flex property on this parent here. And comment. And so come here, we'll have this here. I see in the display flex, it causes element to sit side by side. All right, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't, it's going to just sit side by side, not going to the next line. It doesn't matter how much the element, how much or what the number of the element they're going to, it's going to make sure they sit side by side, even though it means the element overflowing the screen. Like if you see that it has overflowed the screen, but it's still adding them side by side. So the flex element, unlike the inline and the block that can arrange them when they have got into an extreme, can arrange them around that line. The flex element here causes the element to sit side by side until the screen even overflows. All right, because the element to sit side. Like look at here, it was instead of taking this to a new line, it still remained side by side. If you come here and add this now, so I want to increase the amount of content here. I come here, it's still going to make sure they are staying side by side. I think that you're going to still make sure that they're staying side by side. I think this. So the flex arrange elements sideways. All right. So the flex arrange elements sideways, horizontally, and also you can do that the same vertically. All right. So that's what the flex does. So the next, we're going to the display grid. Here, the grid property, you can determine how elements sit in rows and columns. All right, in rows and columns. All right. Just like if you look at your mobile phone, the way elements your app are stacked in rows and columns. That is done using the grid display method. So I'll come here around and change this to grid. Yeah. Alright, so if I come here and reload this, discover that it is not gridded because after adding the grid property, you are still going to specify how you want them to be arranged. If I come here and say, okay, enter grid template codes. Alright, I'll say I want this to be one fraction, this one fraction, another fraction, another fraction, another fraction. Alright, so I want them to sit 4 per row, then arrange in that manner. I seen that, so they can sit four parts. So you can use to determine how you want the element to be positioned or to be displayed in terms of rows and column. All right, you can determine, unlike the flex that you cannot determine with the grid, you can determine how you want them to sit in terms of rows and column. All right, so you can come and say add another FR here to reload. I seen this. So this is how applications are stacked. If you look at applications on your mobile phone, they are stacked like this. All right, so this is the grid display method. So this grid template code, this is the short. There's another shortcut of how it's done. You come here, you have the grid template like this. So you have here, you have repeat here. Then inside you say okay, 5, comma 1 FR. So which means that they should sit 5 on a particular row. Come here, reload this. It will let me make it see so that there can be a change on the screen. You come here, reload this. You have this. I seen this. Okay, so this is what the grid is all about. So finally, the last display type here is the none. All right, we have the none here. What is the none? You come here. So the word none, it means you don't want anything to be displayed. Let me comment this now. None means everything should disappear. None. I seen that. So the hosts are disappearing. So this is what the none does. All right. So these are the different display types we have on CSS.